Those awfully nice people at VEVOR asked me if I would like to look at some more of their products and become one of their, I don't know, what do you call them, associates or something like that. And I bought a few of their bits and pieces privately, but they said, well, would you like to have one of our products off a list we're doing it this month for promotion? I said, okay, you know, as you do. And one of the things that caught my eye was a 50 amp plasma cutter. Now, I've had a plasma cutter by Hypertherm for quite a few years now, and I really like it, but it was only 30 amp, and when they said it's a 50 amp one, well, that really caught my eye. So they sent me one. Here it is in a box. Well, let's see, look, see? So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to open the box so I can have a look at the instructions, have a look at what we've got, and then tomorrow, well, a continuation on this video, I will test it out, because I've got a chance to assess it and do it instead of doing it straight out of the box. Well, you'll get the idea. So let's have a look what's in the box. Angelos. They seem to be doing a lot of promotion on these machines, and I have read a little bit about them on Amazon and things like this. I've not actually seen one. Today's the day. Oh, there's some foam. Oop. Well, one thing, it's very well plaqued. That's that bit out of the way. So this is the machine itself. Let me take this out and let's have a quick look at the machine. We'll put the box to one side for a minute because there's more goodies in there. Oh, this is it. Well, it's about the same weight as my Hypertherm. It's just got a very simple power output there. Connections, pilot. I don't know what that does. Gas, ground, on off. The input is 110 or 220 volts. In Canada land where we are here, it's got dual voltage, but I don't know, I've never really had much luck with the 110. Perhaps it's good for doing sheet metal. But anyway, let's have a look and see what's in this box here. So what have we got? Well, this is what I wanted to see. The instruction book. I wanted to read that tonight. We've got there some hose clips and some screws. We've got some Teflon tape. A ground clamp, which is just, well, perhaps adequate. And there's the ground lead. We've got an air hose that's got no connectors on it. We've got this thing here. This is 50 amp 220 to 110. Oh, wait a minute, what's this here? Oh, it's already got a 50 amp plug on it, so this is to convert it to 110. Usually it's the other way around. Oh, that's pretty handy, so we don't need that. We've got here pressure regulating valve with some connectors. What's in here? A bracket and a secret box. Oh, it's a gauge. Oh, that's alright. It's a water separator. It's quite a good idea to stop water getting into these machines, because if you've got shop air, you can obviously drag damp air into this, so these want to be kept nice and dry. So what I'll do is we'll go through here and have a look at what these things are, and then we'll come back. Now, what on earth are these things here? That belongs with the dryer. These things here. stands. There's some consumables. One thing I did read about these is that VEVOR don't supply consumables. The consumables are readily available on Amazon, but I'll do that tomorrow when I've read up about them, because I've got some notes already. So there's these little things here. Now these are like little standoffs. So you've got two spare nozzles and two cutters, two jets. Now these are different to my hypertherm. My hypertherm ones were copper. They look like they're copper too. And I think that these things here clip round. Yeah, they must do. They clip round your torch like that. Okay, they clip round your torch, and it's got a safety catch on your torch, and turn it on and off. It looks like it's quite a nice torch. This sort of thing here is so that you don't touch the metal directly. There's a small standoff of an air gap. Now the hypertherm one you could actually touch directly to your metal. So if you were going to, right in the middle of your work, if you wanted to cut a hole, you could blast a hole straight through it. So I don't know what this one will do. It says it's good for up to ½ an inch cutting, but hell, what a great big length of cable that. I do believe I read that this was a 16-foot cable, and I quite believe it as well. Well, that's good, because the last thing you want is the machine that's you're dragging it around all the time. In fact, listen, I think I found out what these do here. Come over across to the machine here. So we'll take those off here. These go on here. And they're a little... Oh, wait a minute, put it this way. So there should be a box of screws somewhere. They're for putting the cable round. So where's a box of screws? There they are. So I'll tell you what, let me have a break a minute, and I'll see if I can put this together. Right, this machine was really simple to set up. You didn't really need to read the book all that much. What we've got here to connect at the front, we've got our ground that goes onto there. That's a simple push and twist. It's on like an oval thing, so you can't really go wrong with that one. Turn that one. Little connector there with the 2 plugs on, 2 points, put that on. What's that one? The pilot, I don't know what that does. And then this is for your air and probably for your torch current. Now you just need a little adjustable wrench, spanner, just to give that a nip up. And then this slides over the top and makes it look neat. At the back, let's have a look at the back. Well, obviously there's my spanner on the floor. But when we look at the back, this is how I piped up mine. You've got your regulator on here. There's a little bracket here to bolt the regulator onto, and a piece of pipe. Now it comes with a good awful piece of pipe here, but I'm connecting mine directly into the regulator. And of course you can control the pressure off this regulator by lifting it up and turning it, and it will do the different pressures. So that's about it really. There's as much as there is to it. What we'll do is, like I say, we'll have a look at the instructions tonight, and then we'll start to do some cutting. Right, as promised, this is the next day, and we're going to have a bit of a go at plasma cuttering, if there is such a word, with this VEVOR machine down here. Now I've plugged it in, I haven't switched it on yet. There we go. Now it says here, 14mm steel, 65 psi, 10 to 12 steel, 60 psi, and 6 to 8, 50. So what we're going to do here, I've got some old filing cabinet, we're going to try and cut that up. So we're going to set the gauge at the back from here to, what was this? That's 50 psi. 50. Now, moving across to here, I can't see the screen, so we're going to have to guess a bit. So I brought the grinder out for a ground. That's going to be all right. Now, I've got a straight edge here. Yeah, I've got a straight edge there, and I'm going to see if this cuts. Now, we're only going to cut very small on this sheet, so I'm going to set this at 22. Now, I haven't used this at all before, so I'm not really sure, but use a pair of gloves and some goggles when you're doing this. Right, let's give it a go. Wow! Now that is very good. I'm impressed with that. And you see that here? Look at that. That was the first time I've ever pulled the trigger, but it cut through that like a knife through butter. Excellent. I'm going to do another cut on that, and then I'm going to cut that piece out, and I'm going to have a look at see what the burr is on the inside. There's very little burr on that. That's quite good. I'm impressed at that. What about cutting something? What about cutting something like aluminium? Well, let's give it a buff up and get a ground. Now remember, our job is doing Land Rovers and maybe some classic cars, but we see a lot of this stuff kicking about. So there's a ground on there. Well, we might as well cut a strip off that. The torch is very good for when you're using gloves. You know, like I say, it's big and chunky, which is nice. There we go. Now that didn't cut as good. I wonder if the amps need turning up. We'll turn that up to 40 amps and we'll try that again. Better. Better. Remember, all this metal is going to be hot. And very little burr on the side. That'll clean up really nice. A nice clean cut. Look at that. No ifs or buts. They're the cleanest cuts. So let's go up a little bit thicker. A good ground is essential on these machines. So I don't really want to cut and waste all that, so I'm going to do a cut just across there. Shall I keep it on 40 amps? Yeah, I'll keep it on 40 amps and see what it does. Well, it certainly made short work of that. You see that? That was excellent. So that will cut chassis bits. Now the only thing about cutting chassis on the car itself, you want to cut bits off, is this is just a little bit, well, gets in the way a little bit. Well, it's not too bad. But that cut that, and I bet you if we just cut this here, you know, we'll just cut the ends off. Don't be tempted to tap it with your with your gun. Yeah, you see, it just breaks off, and you'll get a nice clean cut. I'm very impressed so far. Look, I've got something even thicker here. See that stuff? Let's try that. Let's get the buffer out. Let's see what that does. Again, you always have to account for the thickness of the distance between there and the centre of your point, your pin. Glasses on. See if we can take a slicing off that. No, wants more amps. Now if we put more amps on, we need more air. Let's have a go again. It welded itself to the tape. Yeah, I was a bit of a mess on that one because the ground strap was catching on the lead. But it cut it. Cut it fine. Have I got anything else? I don't want to cut my straight edge. But that cut it quite well. I'm impressed so far. I really am. I thought it was going to be a bit wishy-washy. I'm not sure how long the consumables will last, these things in here, but I did a little bit of homework. I'll turn this off. Oh, the fan's still running to cool it down. The consumables, you have to need AG-60. They come in a packet of 30 assorted bits, so you get the ceramics, you get the internal external part there, and the little covery thing, the little guide thing there, for 19.99 Canadian dollars. That's cheap enough, isn't it? A lot cheaper than the Hypertherm bits. It says it cuts 1/2 inch metal like soft butter. Clean cut 12mm. Maximum severance cut 5/8, 16mm. The plasma torch is 16'4", wasn't a bad guess, and the ground is 6.56 feet. I don't know, probably meters. 30%. Now this is the duty cycle. So there's 30% duty cycle that's at 40 degrees centigrade at 50 amps. So when you get to 50 amps, you can only use 30% of the machine because it's dedicated for cutting higher stuff. But if you go to 25 amp for cutting smaller stuff, that's at 100% duty cycle, which is pretty good. Now I should mention what is the difference between a pilot arc and a non-pilot arc. This is a non-pilot arc. The pilot arcs are in the more expensive machines like the Hypertherm, which I've got back there, and that means that if you want to cut something, put the torch directly onto metal, it will do it, because it uses a high frequency start, and this one doesn't, so that's why you've got an air gap. It isn't much, but that's why it's got the shield on. Now this brings me to a point. Would this be any good for cutting Land Rover chassis? I don't know. Is it going to trip out? Is it going to work? I don't know, but we're going to try it in a minute. Right, so I've roughly drawn a line around the tank where I want to cut it with the plasma. It's not exactly even, it doesn't really matter, but I'll cut that section out of here first. See how it performs. not too bad. It's a little bit bitty. I think I'll turn the amps up a bit. That was better, just a few more amps. Oh, wait a minute, I've lost my thing. Where did that go? My little guide thing. Where did that go? Let's see how this cuts. Alright, so that's 49 amps, see if it will cut all the way around it. Well, that's that cut. The little thing came off the end again, but I don't know what it's for because it cut just as well. So one of the things about plasma cutting is you can sometimes miss a tiny bit like that, like this here, and it can really chew your job up. So we'll keep that, we'll put a little hole in the end and pin it on the wall. And now we're going to cut this into strips and push it into the bin. I'm beginning to like this machine. I think it's great. I want to cut a hole in here for lifting it up with my forklift. That was easy, wasn't it? Well, hats off to VEVOR. I never thought it would work like that. I thought it was going to be one of those funky machines where you have to have that little shield on and it's going to be really finicky. They're excellent. They're really good. I was really impressed. I think with that one, with a bit more practice, you could get nuts and bolts off really easy. I'm very impressed. I think the higher amperage on that thickness seemed to do quite a good job, as you could see. Alright, so take care. We'll see you later.